Amidst the tragedy of the Jammu terror attack is the story of incredible hope. Images of that little baby girl, just a day old, with her mother. Both of them are fine. But when the terror attack in Jammu took place at that army camp, the mother was shot in the back. She was bleeding, she was injured, and that child had not been delivered. When the army got hold of them, her parameters were not stable and important choices needed to be made. This was a life and death situation. So many people lost their lives in the Jammu terror attack. 5 army jawans and 1 civilian. What would be the fate of this pregnant woman? Joining us now, some of the heroes of the army, the doctors who saved their life. Brigadier Ajay Malik first. He is the commandant of the military hospital. Brigadier, what was her condition? What did you need to deal with?
See, all along the day we were getting casualties. It just so happened that at around 7:30 in the evening, we received a lady who was shot in the back, and she was found to be carrying in an advanced stage of pregnancy. Her parameters, the vital parameters, were not yet stable, so what was done in the accident and emergency department of ours was we resuscitated her, stabilized her, and found out a breech presentation of advanced stage of pregnancy. And then the case was dealt with by expert team of officers, especially gynecologists, anesthesiologists, and the surgeon.
How much of a life and death situation was this?
You see, she had been shot and she had lost a bit of blood, and in a pregnant state, any kind of loss of blood would cause a damage to, unborn child. It can lead to. So a fast decision had to be taken.
And obviously that decision was taken very, very quickly, and you did go into the surgery. The Defence Minister was there earlier today. Among other things, she met the mother and the baby. Could you just describe to us what the Defence Minister saw?
Yes, sir. She visited all the casualties. She met all of them, spoke to all of them, reassured all of them, and she was extremely happy to meet the newborn baby as well as the mother.
And what about the name of the child? Is it too early? Does the baby have a name? Are the medics, your doctors, calling her something?
Not yet, sir. I guess it would be left to the mother and the father of the baby to do that.
I'm told there is a name already doing the rounds. But sir, most importantly, are they healthy?
Yes. Both mother and child are doing extremely well. Healthy female, 2.5 kgs. Both of them are doing extremely well. The baby is accepting her feeds.
But sir, there is one other child, a 14-year-old, a teenager who received gunshot wounds to the head. His condition, we are told, is critical. Can you tell us a little bit about his condition?
Sir, the boy was evacuated in time from this place to a neurosurgical center at Command Hospital, Northern Command, that is at Udhampur. His situation is a little critical. More can be known from that particular hospital and the neurosurgeons.
Well, there were several other doctors as well. Thank you, sir, very much for speaking to us. And we're going to speak now to Colonel Jyoti Joshi. She's the anesthesiologist who dealt with this case when the mother was actually taken to the operating theatre. Colonel, thanks very much for speaking to us. By the time she was moved to the OT, her condition was somewhat better. But what was the condition when she was about to be operated on?
When she was brought into the OT, her blood pressure and pulse rate was stable. It was not that unstable, and she was little anxious, but otherwise hemodynamically the lady was stable.
And when did you decide on a C-sec? Because you would also have had to deal with her gunshot wounds.
Okay, see, because this lady had 2 previous cesarean sections, so this she could not have been delivered by a normal delivery. So the delivery has to be a cesarean section. Now we had 2 choices. If this lady was, her blood pressure, her blood pressure and pulse were not stable, she had lost blood, and if she has lost a large amount of blood, then these things become unstable. In this condition, we have to choose the choice of anesthesia. In any case, we have to take out the child first, if the child is alive at that time. So the choices left with us, that what choices of anesthesia we are going to take. Fine. If the blood pressure, pulse rate is normal, if the lady is stable, then we can go for spinal anesthesia, because that is the choice of anesthesia these days for cesarean section. But if she is hemodynamically unstable, then we have to go for general anesthesia, which is risky for the child.
Right. But what about the gunshot wound? How did you deal with that?
So, in a pregnant lady, you can imagine, if you are exploring the gunshot wound first, her pregnancy was there. So, the child has to be taken out first. And second thing, she was not bleeding actively, so that wound could have been taken care of later, easily.
Colonel, I mean, as an army officer, you're trained to deal with life and death situations. But what did it feel like for you to, I mean, it's such a remarkable story of hope when you saw both of them surviving. What did it feel like for you, ma'am?
Actually, like in this particular scenario, I must say that she is a brave lady, because a safe confinement, like a safe delivery, that the pregnancy should end safely, this is a big worry of every pregnant mother. And in this case, when she has undergone so much of a stress right from the morning, and she knows that she has been hit by a bullet, the thing was, for emotionally it was so traumatic for her. So in that condition also, if she has kept her cool, I must compliment her.
And ma'am, is there a name so far? I believe, I mean, obviously officially there is no name as yet, but your medics and maybe your doctors are calling her something. What are they calling her?
They are calling her Sunjuwan ki pari, the queen of Sunjuwan.
All right, well, she really is that at this stage. Thank you so much, Colonel, for speaking to us. And now joining us is the surgeon, Major Objinder Singh, who conducted the surgery to deliver the baby, deal with her injuries as well. Thanks very much, Major, for joining us. What was the most challenging part of the surgery for you?
Yeah, I dealt with the gunshot wound of the lady. When she arrived to the emergency department, she was not stable hemodynamically. We resuscitated her, given IV fluids, and our team of gynecologists, self and critical care anesthesiologists, we assessed the patient, and she was made stable. And then we thought of about the baby. We did the ultrasound. The baby was alive. Then we took a collective decision that we should deliver the baby first, and then we'll deal with the gunshot wound.
Was it a difficult delivery, a difficult cesarean section? Was it an emergency cesarean section?
No, cesarean section was normal, like normal cesarean section, but the decision was very difficult to take. What should we do first, cesarean section or gunshot wound debridement?
I'm going to try and get a little bit of emotion out of you. Soldiers don't have any emotion at all very often. You just deal with these scenarios. But what did it feel like, Major, to see this baby girl alive in your own hands?
Yeah, we were very happy that the baby cried at the delivery, and we were very happy to see the baby.
Well, said with absolute deadpan, true to the uniform. What is the condition of the child and the mother, sir?
They're doing well. They're doing good. Baby's on her breastfeed, and both are good.
Well, there you have it. A team of 3, but there were many others who were also involved in this life and death ordeal, which fortunately resulted in such happiness, such joy. One little baby girl enters the world despite the odds. Her mother was shot. The mother is fine. The baby is all right. But let's spare a thought for that 14-year-old boy who is fighting for his life with that gunshot wound to his head. He is in a very critical condition, we are told. But in all the sadness of that Jammu terror attack, that was one positive story, one story of happiness and hope, which I felt we all really needed to take a look at.